We promote first using it as an independent method for treatments of precancer and cervical cancer diagnosis. Second, employing it as a part of integrated approach in addition to existing methods in prevention and cure of HPV-associated diseases such as vaccination and surgical treatment. As a youngster, I was tightly dragged into the subject of viruses reducing human immune system. And as an adult and professional doctor, I had been inculcating precancerous and early-stage cancers method of treatment, PDT, to save reproductive function of women for 12 years. Following the famous Russian scientist and military surgeon teaching, the best surgery is the one that is managed not to be done, by Nikolai Pirogov. And as of today, I have successfully treated more than 160 patients. More than 900 of them are medically supervised for over 5 years with 90% no aftermath whatsoever. And all this time, I have confidently been convinced that PDT is first, safe and reliable method. Second, it works. Third, we need to do it more often. As I became a practicing gynecologist, I faced many cases of women who had problems with their reproductive system caused by HPV. The most popular way of treatment was, and unfortunately still is, the surgical method. According to the different sources, HPV recurrences determined from 12 to 30 patients after surgical treatment. As per our study, relapses occur in more than 50% patients. So we came to the conclusion that depth and mass of removed tissues do not impact the results of surgical treatment. Unfortunately, seeing relapse still occurs after a surgery. Being aware of the fact that HPV is the main relapse factor of diseases, returning back to the patients, I realized that we needed to find another way of treatment when doctor treats the cause of disease, not its consequences, precisely killing the virus. So I had started looking for my own way of treating women, and it became my main objective, providing protection against the main generator of disease, the virus. I began to watch and study the immune protection mechanisms. As they say, when there will, there is a way. In Russian, the one who looks for something always finds it. That happened in my life. In 2009, I had embarked on new exploration, mastering and organ-preserving practices, first learning from other doctors, later habituating PDT method on my own. And as my practice grew up, I understood that we needed more information. 12 years ago, there was not as much communication on this subject, so reading articles about PDT made me aware of the professionals in other parts of the world trying to solve the same problem. PDT in those days was merely a brand new invention, so searching and learning for more data, I had been studying this theme from a number of Russian, German and Chinese medical publications. Therefore, I took over those ideas that helped me thoroughly comprise PDT into my practice, unifying the data I received and improving the procedure protocol I employed. I switched my practice curing and treating women into a new direction, consciously and confidently moving on to PDT, and pretty soon it became a high percentage success because my real interest, as I mentioned before, was rescuing women's lives without surgery and saving their abilities to give birth. Procedure protocol. Use of photoalarm photosensitizer, active substance of chlorine sex, and administer the drug intravenously over 3 hours before irradiation. Second stage, irradiation by laser apparatus Lactamilon 662 nanometers, not gamma rays, speaking about safety. First, we do laser-like treatment of a cervical canal with cylindrical diffuser 4 cm long and 400 joules per square centimeter. Then we process the external portion of the cervix with polyposition irradiation technique of 300 joules per square centimeter in each field. During the next few years of practice, I kept notes on how each case acted in the process of treatment and watched the dynamics of disease cure, precisely from 2015 to 2023, with its astonishing results. Here I will show only 6 cases among 1,560 women with cervical intraepithelial neoplasia and cancer diagnosis. Case number 1 is 19-year-old woman diagnosed with low-grade squamous intraepithelial lesion, LGSIL, HPV negative. The complete epithelialization with good test results was successfully achieved after 1 PDT course. This picture shows the condition of the uterine cervix before and after PDT procedure. Case number 2 is 26-year-old woman diagnosed with severe dysplasia HGSIL, the 16th and 18th types of HPV positive. The antiviral medication treatment she received before was unsuccessful. This picture was taken on the day of treatment on November 15, 2015. Picture number 2 was carried out 2 years after treatment, where we saw how necrotic pathological tissues became in 5 days and got rejected by healthy tissues. The third and the last picture of this case, taken 1 month after treatment, is showing that our patient had no indications of any disease. The complete epithelialization was achieved. The results of all tests, pap smear, Dagin test, and colposcopy met the criteria of a healthy person. We coped with disease on time. The treatment our patient received was just right to achieve our goal.
Only one setting?
One course.
One irradiation setting?
One course. One course, one.
Thank you.
Case number 3 is 96-year-old woman diagnosed with severe dysplasia relapse after surgical canalization. The 16th and 56th types of HPV positive. The surgical canalization was performed in May 2015 in Seoul. The Gardasil vaccination after this procedure was administered 3 times as well. All this treatment was fulfilled to our patient prior to her contacting me. She reached us in the beginning of June. Her main motivation for treatment was childbirth. We were afraid to get her heart, giving her no warranty, but she insisted on the treatment. And on June 20, 2016, I cured cervical dysplasia with PDT. In the image we took during the procedure, fluorescence diagnostics FD, we saw a bright glow of epithelium altered by neoplasia with photosensitizing accumulation in pathologically changed cells. The long hope for and so desirable childbirth was finally brought in through the natural birth canal in 2017. Moreover, after 2 years, the first baby was born. The patient visited my office planning the second childbirth. It was worth taking a chance, even if in the beginning it seemed to go only a few inches off the ground. The last picture of this case shows the condition of the cervix 4 years after treatment. The complete epithelialization was achieved. The results of all tests, pap smear, Dagin test, and colposcopy met the criteria of the healthy person. On the day she showed up in our office for the first time, her options were limited. Hysterectomy after second relapse with no ability ever to get childbearing, or PDT. We chose the second option. Our motivation was big enough to restore the woman's life. The fourth clinical case is 37-year-old woman diagnosed with carcinoma in situ HGSIL, the 16th types of HPV positive. First, I was uneasy to take this patient in, all the more so implying the PDT protocol, especially if there was such an ambivalent diagnosis. An appearance of the cervix looked as heavily altered by cancer surface, but all her tests did not indicate the presence of invasive cancer. But since she insisted on the treatment, I had no arguments to decline it, and on September 21, 2018, I performed PDT procedure against the virus, stimulating the immune system to load a new startup and expecting the whole sum to out beneficially supporting the tissues. Picture number 2 shows the results of our 1-hour procedure. 1 to 2 months after treatment. It gave us satisfaction of the service we have done. The complete epithelialization was achieved. The next and third picture shows the condition of the uterine cervix 2 years after treatment, where we saw no alteration for the worse. Moreover, the condition of the uterine cervix after 2 years of PDT showed the achievement of complete restoration. The results of all tests, pap smear, Dagin test, and colposcopy met the criteria for the healthy person. Fifth clinical case is a 28-year-old woman diagnosed with cervical adenocarcinoma T1A, NO, and upper eye papilloma on the eyelid. In the photo to the left, you can see the oval-shaped external cervical os tumor tissues. In the photo to the right, you can see the upper eyelid papilloma as the result from photochemical reactions. This is 16th and 52nd types of HPV positive. PDT procedures were performed on November 26, 2018 and on April 11, 2019. Thus, our patient received 2 PDT courses, one for uterine cervix, another one for upper iliac papilloma, with complete restoration to the satisfaction of our client's expectations. The goal of reaching healthy tissues was successfully obtained. And case number 6 is 37-year-old woman diagnosed with cervical carcinoma T1B1 and OMO. The first picture shows the condition of the uterine cervix on the first exam. The squamous cell carcinoma was confirmed by MRI test and biopsy. The external proportions of the tumor reached the size of the cervix, the 16th type of HPV positive. The invasive cancer treatment protocol usually implies from 2 to 3 sessions, thus we complied them all in this particular clinical case. The first PDT procedure was performed on November 26, 2015. In the photo to the left, you can see tumor tissue necrosis as the result of photochemical reactions 7 days after the first PDT procedure. In the photo to the right, you can see the full resorption of the tumor 1 month after the first PDT course. PDT sessions were performed in November 2015, January 2016, and March 2016. The next photo shows the condition of the uterine cervix 2 years after treatment, after the final third PDT session. The endometrioid heterotopes were still visible on the uterine cervix, though the results of all tests, pap smear, Dagin test, colposcopy, MRI test, and biopsy met the criteria of the healthy person. And on April 7, 2020, after 5 years treating cervical cancer T1, B1, and OMO without surgery, and passing the third PDT session, our patient, the 43-year-old woman, gave birth to her first-born son. By the way, this woman is around and still enjoys her family and life. Truly, as Hippocrates said, success in healing is imposed on both the physician and the patient, and it was very pleasant news for all of us. Studying this matter and analyzing 8 years PDT success and its effectiveness, we came to the conclusion that antiviral and anti-tumor positive effects were achieved in all groups. As you can see from our chart, the full recovery of all named diseases varies between 79 to 92%. About the same percentage of full recovery were received in a group with acute HPV infection, as well as in a group with atypical squamous cells of undetermined significance. To our surprise, patients with HGSIL had higher percentage of full recovery than patients with LGSIL. In other words, patients with more severe lesions responded better to the treatment than patients with mild symptoms. During the recovery testing period, more than 65 patients became pregnant. Their pregnancy and childbirth were found with no complications or aftermath whatsoever. Their sickness was over without symptoms or morphological recurrences. The HPV was successfully eliminated from the cervix. So the outcomes of PDT brought us to the inference that PDT is a reproductive saving method as well as an organ-preserving treatment of different pathologies. Although PDT is merely a brand new invention, it is very effective. PDT works. Its performance treats the reason of disease and its consequences. It provides against the major agent of disease, the virus. It kills the virus. It is the only method of treatment eliminating HPV. PDT activates and improves human immune system, stimulating, loading up, and supporting the immunological mechanisms. PDT cures different dangerous and chronic diseases. It has astonishing potentials in widening the scope of treatment. PDT is safe. It prevents severe complication of diseases. It has less side effects in dynamics of cure. Opposing to the surgical method, it is non-aggressive, non-surgical organ-preserving method of treatment, has selective tumor cells impact, and applies to specific areas. It has no tumor resistance and resulting in its effectiveness. It saves reproduction function. PDT saves women's lives. I have got 15 points so far, but I'm sure there are many more. And PDT deserves to be used more frequently, and utilization of it to be widened and customized in reaching larger auditorium of needed people. As many of you probably know, this ancient Greek healer, physician, and philosopher, living in 5th century before Christ for almost 110 years, once said, "The unsuccessful surgery brings double harm, the unnecessary pain to the patient and dishonor to the doctor." Therefore, in the beginning of this century, the non-surgical solution was found in PDT. And yes, congratulations in recognition of a big success to those who believe in PDT and manage the unnecessary surgery not to be done, to be avoided in other words. Using this non-surgical organ-preserving method of treatment, helping people to overcome the hardship they got into and give hope and future life they are so desperate in. Thank you for your attention.